Hello everyone. Okay, we're just going to wait till there are more members in here. Hello everyone, come on in. Okay, hello Fanny Ayuli. Okay, hello everybody. Okay, what are you guys up to right now? Thank you. I think we will wait until there are, I think, 10 till 15 viewers in here. Then we'll start. Okay, so while waiting till the viewers to reach 10 viewers in total, you guys can just chill out and just while having, because this talk will be a very brief and just a laid back chit chatting. Have you guys eaten today? Thank you so much, everyone who have come. Okay, okay, I think we shall begin now. Okay, hello people of tomorrow. Welcome to me, Medical Education Exclusive Talk 2022 by AMSA-Jember. My name is Haninditya Bintari, simply known as Hanin, and I'm currently a second-year medical student in Jember University, and also a member of AMSA-Jember. And here I'll be the moderator for this Instagram Live with AMSA Australia. But before we jump into the exclusive talk, I would like to tell you briefly about this spectacular event. So, as I have said before, MEET is the abbreviation of Medical Education Exclusive Talk, and here we will talk about exclusive topics of medical education and the lifestyle of medical student abroad. And previously we have done 1 and 2 with AMSA Taiwan and also AMSA Macau. And especially on our live Instagram today, we have a very, very special guest. His name is Charles from AMSA Australia. Okay, so before I will try to introduce Charles first. So our guest today is his name is Charles Ruan, and he's the director of Asian Medical Students Exchange Programme, known as AMSEP, batch 2021 and 2022 from AMSA Australia, and he's currently a 4th-year student at Monash University in Melbourne. And not only he's the director of AMSA Australia, he's also an international representative who is responsible for advocacy, social events, and student welfare of the international student body in Monash University Medical Student Society. Okay, so alright, I'm sure that all of the viewers today are super excited to meet our guest and can no longer wait for too long. So without further ado, let's welcome our guest today, Charles Ruan. I will invite him right now. Okay, wait a second. Okay, please wait a second, guys. Okay.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening. Hello, Charles.
Hello.
Hey, beforehand, I did not mispronounce your name, did I?
Yeah, that's correct. That's all correct.
Oh, okay. I'm very sorry if I have mispronounced your name. So is it Charles Ruan?
Yeah, Ruan, Charles Ruan. That's fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. It's very nice to meet you. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. It's a really pleasure to
Okay.
be here talking to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we would like to say thank you for your appearance, and we're extremely honored to have you here and having a small conversations. Let's just say, and okay, if I'm not mistaken, is it around 11 p.m. there in Melbourne?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay, so we were actually quite surprised that this talk was to be held at 11 p.m. In Melbourne because it's only 8 p.m. now. So we're very sorry for that, and I hope you don't mind.
Yeah, that's all right. No, I'm happy to. Yeah, we're having
Okay.
small break at the moment with Easter and everything, so that's a pleasure to be here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much once again. And looks like all of the participants are very excited in here. They're sending lots of hearts and loves. Okay, so are you currently in Melbourne?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
All right. Do you mind telling us what you're up to nowadays? I mean, as a director of AMSEP Australia, and just simply a student in general.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hello, everyone. Thanks for the kind introduction. So I'm the director of Asian Medical Student Exchange Program for this tenure for Australia. And yeah, currently we have just finished an exchange with Taiwan late March actually. So we're just in process of preparing for our next AMSEP, which is happening next week actually. So a lot of work behind the scenes, and yeah, super excited to tweak the stuff that we found that could be improved from the last exchange and implement it in the upcoming exchange with the Philippines actually. So yeah, the team and the other director Ronald, we've been working tirelessly for this exchange and hoping we could put out a really fun event for all of the delegates.
Okay, well that's very wonderful to hear. So so previously, the last exchange was with Taiwan,
Yeah, that's correct.
if I heard correctly, and also the next one would be with the Philippines.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's really wonderful to hear. And okay, so we've got some questions here that have been listed before, and I hope you don't mind answering them. And I mean, and then later, as our conversation goes on, if you do mind any questions, please do tell us. I mean, yeah, please do tell us. Okay, so are you ready for the
Yep.
question? Okay.
That's good.
So the first one, we you have told us before that you're currently a fourth year medical student, and so we would like you to go back a little bit 4 years ago, and what was your motivation in applying for a medical school? I mean, we all know that medical school with all the stereotypes and all the demands and all of the pressure, and so what was your motivation for it?
I think since I was a very young child, I've always kind of had the interest of, solving problems and discovering almost like a detective. I really love the crime shows that um, shows a lot of people or police officers who catch the small clues and then make try to catch whoever's the criminal or the suspect. So I guess medicine is also kind of like that, in the part where you are finding clues from the patient by talking to them and really working on a problem from a blank piece of paper. So I really kind of enjoy that problem solving process, and in which you're able to work out what's wrong with that patient, and then in the end help them with their current situation. So that's that's one big part of medicine which I found enjoyable. And the other part was probably mainly because I think it's just one of the most useful and rewarding skill you might have as a person to, in my opinion, where being a doctor means, I mean, everyone will have some kind of condition at some point in our lives, and being a doctor means that I'll be able to help those people with their problems. Yeah, so that is another reason that I've really kind of wanted to pursue medicine as a career.
Okay, well, that's very lovely to hear. So I guess I think being a medical student means it's like you're the Sherlock Holmes of the medicine, I guess. And then also since I think you're very right, it's I think definitely one of the purest form of helping people and just trying to take care of others. So yeah, that's very lovely to hear. Okay, so we also know that you're studying in Monash University. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, any particular reason or motivation of why did you choose Monash? Because it's definitely a lot of people's dream school. And do you have any particular reason for that?
So obviously when I was first looking at the universities that offered a medicine course, there were mainly two pathways available. So one is like more of the American pathway where you do the bachelor's degree and then you apply the postgraduate medicine course and separately. So after you finish your bachelor degree, so that's one option, which is probably the more popular, like the more prevalent options in Australia at the moment as well. And the other one is a direct, like more English MBBS, like bachelor of, so like a direct undergrad degree, like the one Monash has. Yeah, so there are two quite different setups. And I guess to me at that point was that because I was quite sold on becoming a doctor in the future. I didn't really have a second like occupation that really interested me. So yeah, I kind of thought, why don't I just get into an undergrad course and try to finish early, like try to save some years and be a doctor a bit earlier, hopefully. Yeah. So the 5-year course with Monash is the shortest, was the shortest in the country, and then yeah, I think it still is. And I've heard some really good reviews. I mean, people talking about it. So that's how I picked Monash. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So actually, I didn't know that there were two pathways. So is it like available for both like the American type of bachelor degree and also the direct one? So both are available in Australia, is it?
Yes. So different unis offer different pathways. Yeah. So Monash is one of the probably 2 or 3 universities that offer the direct undergrad pathway, and also, I mean, Monash also offers the postgraduate medicine course as well, and the two streams kind of combine. We combine in our second year and their first year as well. So it's there's a bit of both. There are yeah, I guess the American MD pathways. It's better for people who are not really sure when they graduated from high school, so they can have like 3 or 4 years during their undergraduate degree to figure out whether I really wanted to do medicine or is this something that my parents thought was a really good occupation to do, but I personally am not too interested in. So yeah, I think that 3 years of undergrad gives them that flexibility to pursue some other options and see whether medicine actually fits them in their own interest and their passion. Yeah.
Okay, so I will say that I think I will try to conclude that the direct pathway is kind of it's safer and it's definitely faster because we all know that being a doctor it takes such a long time, takes so much effort in it.
Yeah,
Okay, so yeah, I mean I definitely could relate on that.
definitely.
Okay, okay, so okay, that's such a wonderful explanations. And okay, so moving on, do you mind telling us more specifically about your daily activities as a medical student there in Monash University? Do you mind?
Mm-hmm. So with my course, which is a 5-year course, so it's basically split up into two parts. So the first 2 years is 2 preclinical years, which means we are basically taught like like any other university students on campus, we have lectures, we have tutorials, we have some workshops, and so that's happening all in the university. I quite enjoyed my first year, which was pre-COVID, and so we had sessions, we had anatomy sessions, split into like different subsessions. So there's sessions where we look at the specimens and try to identify the structures. There are live dissections, which we actually get to use the scalpel and we can dissect the relevant structures in a group. So that was really fun. And yeah, we also get a bit of other clinical school workshops and everything. Yeah, looking back, it was really nice in an in-person setting. And then the COVID hit. We kind of shifted everything online, I guess.
Such a dreamer.
That's just the way it went. But anyways, so that 2 years was the preclinical years. And then years 3, 4, and 5 are the clinical years where we basically are attached to different hospitals throughout the year to have different rotations, and you're basically learning on the job. You're almost working, but you're not really getting paid. At the same time, you're also doing your studies outside of those hours. So it can get a little bit tougher because you're basically having an unpaid job plus a responsibility to study on top of that. But it's been fun. Like there's a lot of support with the university regarding the placement hours and the amount of things you're expected to do or observe on placement. Yeah, when I say placement, that just means like being at the hospital, following like a team or like a doctor. Yeah, so they could include going to the operating theater to watch or assist surgeries. It could be like the clinics or the outpatient clinics where you see patients, outpatients basically, like a consult. Or what else is there? Like some workshops or tutorials teaching us how to do like the practical skills, such as like drawing bloods or doing catheters or cannulas. So these are mainly the 3 types of activities we do in the clinical years. And then obviously there's other little assignments that we do on various different topics, which I found quite interesting actually. Monash does have a great emphasis on like the well-being of medical students and health practitioners. So yeah, that's the name of this course changes every year. We learn about it every year. It's like almost embedded in us. And there's also like law or like medical ethics. Well, there are interesting things that you get a break from the normal learning this disease or learning that medication. Yeah, so it's quite interesting.
Okay, well that's really really awesome to hear. So 2 years of preclinical, 2 years of preclinical years, and then the rest 2 till 3 years if I heard
3
it
years.
correctly. Clinical years, and those years consist of like tutor workshops. Sounds really fun. Which actually here in Indonesia it's also quite similar, but we have the 3.5 preclinical years, so it's quite longer, and also 1.5 till 2 years of clinical years. But the one that would like to kind of discuss more. I mean, it's definitely quite it's indeed such a shame that we have the COVID, so it's definitely not as much fun as like how you said it before. The first years of your medical school life it sounds like a blast, and then suddenly COVID came, and you're like, oh gosh, all right, we gotta deal with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so but I would like to kind of ask the specifically the one that Monash has, you guys learned about well-beings and also medical ethics. So it's interesting that as a medical student, we not only we learned all of the science, just like drawing bloods and trying to diagnose patients, but we also learn all of those like components that it feels like it does not matter, but it actually does, and it actually helps. So that's very awesome to hear. Okay. Wow. All right. Okay. So that's very cool. And then so I would like to ask, during those everyday activities, by any chance, do you find any unforgettable memories or moments? The one that you will come up and those days. Okay, it was at the time when some kind of thing.
Okay. So yeah, they're definitely memorable experiences. Where there are really good doctors who really try to get you involved. So I've actually had it once. In Actually, it was started with the clinic, so like an outpatient clinic where the patient was seeing his patients in the doctor was seeing his patients in his own clinics, own rooms, and then he really tried to like tell me the background of each patient's the story before they came in, and then so that once they came in, I will be more familiar with the story so that I can follow the reasoning. And then I think it's also really nice to see how during their conversations between the doctor and the patient, the doctor can somehow include me into the conversation, so they would involve me. Yeah, to me it's really magic, like the communication methods. And so yeah, so it's definitely great. It feels great to be involved, to be able to offer those patients some advice during those consults. Yeah, so that's really nice to see. And then when the patients left, and then the doctor would actually discuss with me what are the issues with this particular person, and then what are the possible options that we have already weighed up against, and how they reach the conclusion. So that's a very nice it's a shame. I wish every single doctor is like that, but it's not a common occasion, sadly. But I do appreciate the one or two doctors that I've met, did such things like that. So yeah, I really appreciated those efforts. And I guess other than that, it was actually the same doctor who actually took me to the catheter lab once. He's a cardiologist, like an interventional cardiologist. So he was like doing his routine, like coronary angiograms, and then so it was like this time where he's told me that we've been getting medical students to do this like left ventricular grams for patients, which is, for those who don't really know, it's like basically inserting a tube from the wrist into the this chamber of the heart, and then try to see how the muscle moves, basically. So yeah, that day he was like, "Oh, would you like to have a go?" I was like, "Oh, that's a rare, that's what a kind offer." I was like, Of course, sure," even though I have no idea how to do it, or maybe I haven't even seen one before. But yeah, he was really nice, and he kind of walked me through step by step of what to do, what to insert and what to pull out, and how to position the hands. Yeah. So yeah, it was. I felt really privileged to actually be involved in a procedure, like not just like observing. So that was a really cool experience.
That actually sounds really cool. That's definitely is quite of a privilege, because that's okay, the way I heard it, it's kind of like a once in a lifetime experience as a clinical your student, ain't it? And the way you told this story, the doctor sounds like he's a really really good doctor. Like the way he nurtures his students and all. Okay, so it's really nice, of course, to feel included and just to feel like you're taken care as a student. Because I mean, you're right. Not every doctor is like that, and a lot of time you will just be super scared and
Yeah.
you just kind of want to bail out of the scene. But yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds really okay. The doctor does sound like a sweetheart. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the doctor
Definitely.
does sound like a sweetheart. And also the one where you got to you met him, and then you were working on this kind of nerve-wracking, scary, but also like exciting like procedure.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool and scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like before, that's definitely once in a lifetime. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did not, I wasn't there, of course, at the time, but okay, I can totally understand and just kind of like visualize it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right. So I think that was the good times. What about the hard times? Did you find any obstacles or hard
Mm-hmm.
times
Mm-hmm.
during studying the medicine itself?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. There are definitely highlights and there are definitely downfalls. And then probably we like to emphasize how glorious being a medical student is, and sometimes we tend to ignore like the hardships and the lot of work behind the back on the background, how hard it could be. Um, so I guess the very first challenge I had entering medical school um, was probably biology. So I didn't actually do biology in high school. Um, and like pretty much most places, I kind of had chemistry as a prerequisite, and then so I was like, oh, I'm not really interested in biology, and then you know, medicine is not all about biology, so I won't be doing it. And then turns out in the first year I had such a big gap in knowledge that I had to make up for, and everything was, yeah, it's just a lot of contents. I think that extends beyond biology a bit to all the other aspect of medicine learning. So that includes like anatomy and all the structure we need to remember, like the pharmacology and how each drug works and what are they used for, and then they all have really similar names. They have their generic names, they have their trade names, they have their whatever names are the brand name, and then all of that we have to remember. I think the one of the biggest challenge for being a medical student is the sheer amount of content that we have to remember throughout, not just during medical school, I guess. Even when you graduate and you become a junior doctor, you have to remember a different set of knowledge on top of the ones you've already learned. Yeah, so that's one big thing. And the other thing is I guess the difference between being a doctor versus being a medical student. And I guess I'm gonna elaborate it by saying, as a medical student in a hospital, I guess you're not really responsible for anything. You're just there to like observe how the doctors interact with other people and with their patients. And most of the times we don't actually have to be involved with like writing notes or charting medications or like changing dressings or whatever. And once we become more senior, become a final year student, and then some people is gonna start asking you, be like, "Oh, you're a pre-intern, right? And then can you do this for me, please?" And you'll be like, "Oh, whoops, that's it might be something that nobody taught you in medical school because it's such a practical thing that yeah, nobody's gonna write a book about how to like say um, how to communicate with the patient about this outcome, or what happens when the drug somebody charted was actually the wrong dose or whatever. So you kind of need to like work out how to solve this problem on the job. So you're kind of learning and making mistakes and also learning at the same time. So I guess that's the hard aspect. So like converting the theoretical knowledge into something that you can actually use to help those patients. Yeah, so that's the other thing that could be really challenging, especially. Yeah.
Okay, wow. that was definitely a lot, but I think we all can relate to like some extent. It does. It is indeed a lot of work. I mean, despite all, I mean, it's all glory outside, but we're all dying inside. I mean, I think everybody, as a medical student, we all can relate to that, and yeah, as I do agree on the fact that you said medicine. When it comes to medicine, people will always trying to look at your biology and chemistry skills, but in fact, it's not all about that. There's are so many others of the medicine aspect that you have to master. But you did catch up, so I think you're, I mean, incredible. You're very incredible for that, and it's also true that the amount of content we have to memorize and understand is just almost impossible. It's like we always pull all nighters just to make sure that we survived for tomorrow's exam and some sort of, and also the one you mentioned, being a doctor is extremely different from being a medical student. Despite right now, maybe as a clinical student, we thought what we're going through right now is hard, but once we become doctor later, it will be like, oh damn, the realization hits us, and okay, it's now it's us who's in charge. It's our responsibilities, and we might be afraid to kill the patients. And there's so much aspect to master. Okay, so yeah, I mean, as medical students, even though we're already in our clinical years, we still rely on all the doctors, right? Whereas being a doctor is all on us. We're the one who's in charge right now, and it's all up to us. So that really is scary. But once we get used to it, someday, okay, that's really wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about your daily life as a medical student, and I will jump into the topic of being a medical student in medical school during the pandemic. Okay, so as we all know, that the pandemic has taken quite a toll on literally every single of us for the past, I think it's almost 2 years now, and it has definitely been affecting a lot of aspects in our life, and as no exceptions, also the teaching and the learning process. And yeah, we suddenly shifted into this teleconference-based learning method, staying in a dorm and not getting any sun for the past 1 month. Okay, so the first questions related to it, I'll say, how's the current situations of the pandemic there around your neighborhood or around your environment? Has it been getting better, or okay? Do you mind telling us?
Yeah, sure. So it took Australia a long time, kind of out of lockdown, and then uh, to slowly becoming like more stable to where we are now. So currently, there are still maybe around 10,000 new cases in Melbourne, like in Victoria, where Melbourne is every day. But like there's barely any restriction with COVID at the moment. So we could say that like Victoria has walked out of the pandemic. So there's minimum amount of requirement in terms of like contact tracing and really checking in where you've been, and then so and the amount of like capacity limits, they've mainly been removed. So most sporting or entertainment events or venues, they usually don't have a capacity cap already. So yeah, so at the moment, if you want to do something, yeah, the chances are you're not gonna be impacted by COVID. Yeah, unless
That's
obviously you got COVID yourself. That I mean, you are obliged to isolate, yeah, for a week. Yes.
yeah. I guess if we got COVID, then it's a must for us to isolate. But it's really nice to hear that it's getting better there in Melbourne. Less requirements, and then venues are open, and then restaurants are also open. So it's definitely a very nice to hear, despite there's still a lot of cases, 10,000 cases, if I heard it
Yeah.
correctly. But yeah, it's also the same here in Indonesia. It's definitely everything is getting better, but COVID is still not over yet. So yeah, we still definitely do have to like wear masks and all that. But yeah, it's definitely getting better. So it's really nice to hear it. And okay, specifically, how does your medical school deal with the pandemic related to the learning process?
I see. Um, so originally back in 2020, oh gosh, it's almost 2 years ago now. There was a lot of uncertainty, obviously. So people, back in the day, we were not sure whether this is an actual thing that will actually break out to become such a pandemic. So university also had a lot of uncertainties with regard to like whether we are continuing things on campus or converting online. But after like 2 to 3 weeks, and they just like fully decided, okay, that's it, everything will be shifted online. And it's such a big shift that for a lot of the medical education, specifically because a lot of our stuff are anatomy related, and teaching this anatomy without being able to see it or feel it
The good
is
doctors.
really hard, pretty impossible. And then they have to adapt their materials to somehow make it online. I mean, yeah, there's a great effort from the tutors, and however, I think to me that I obviously could have learned better if it was in person, obviously. Yeah, but we couldn't really discredit the effort that the university made in terms of transitioning into online course. And so in 2021, I heard that actually, just speaking to the people I know from the younger years, the delivery of online content is getting better. There are stuff that we completely missed out on just because they didn't have the time to redesign the whole in-person thing to become an online thing. So they actually had the time to do that. So the following years, they actually had more stuff available to them as a part of their education. However, in 2021, I was a third year, so in my first clinical year, and it was actually a lot of support in terms of getting medical students into the hospitals and actually be there despite all the COVID and all the restrictions, and just because they understand that one day we might face similar situations like this, and it is really great to get us trained as early as we can, and to be able to equip us with skills that that might be to be ready for a pandemic like this. But obviously that's the intention, and then in terms of practical setup, there's a lot of restriction with the amount of people, amount of medical students that are allowed in a certain ward or like in a certain team during certain ward rounds. So a lot of the times we kind of have to like, decide amongst the team ourselves, who's gonna go in on Monday and who's gonna go in on Tuesday. So that's different. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the new thing that happened during COVID. But overall, we've been in place in hospital pretty much the whole year, despite the lockdowns, the flash lockdowns, and then for 3 weeks, and then it's lifted, and then we go back to normal. So but throughout that, we've been lucky enough to go to the hospital and then continue our learning there. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that experience. And now, obviously, with everything I won't say it's getting better, but it's stabilizing. Um, yeah, we kind of, the more restrictions are getting lifted, and then there's less number, like restrictions on the amount of people that they allow on teams. Yeah. So yeah, that's my experience with COVID in medical education.
Okay, so that's really really wonderful to hear. It's definitely a lot to take. 'Cause since you described everything for the past 2 years related to the medical learning process, and I'd like to comment on the first one. Of course, or when the COVID-19 hit like a sore strike, we're all full of uncertainty, anxieties, or at a peak, and we suddenly shifted into a teleconference-based learning method, and um, which is a very hard thing to do. But yeah, obviously, the university definitely has um, worked really hard to make it happen, and so we really are supposed to be thankful. And yeah, I mean, as time went by, the delivery of the online content definitely has gotten a lot better. It's more practical, and I mean, yeah, during the first year, it's definitely quite hard, like learning the anatomy through pictures. I mean, it's something that we can't imagine as a medical student. We're supposed to learn things by like seeing and touching and all that. And the one thing that I find it really surprising and also relieving was when the COVID-19 began. You were at your first year of the clinical year, which, I mean, at the time the hospital must be packed. It was all like a hectic situation, but it's still things still went well. Things were still under control, so that's really relieving to hear. And yeah, I mean, I think we're all definitely lucky on that. And now that the fact that the more restriction is all kind of like called out and things are getting back to normal, we really do hope that the COVID will be over, and we get to go back to normal. All right. Okay. So we did talk quite briefly about how um, you, as a medical student, your daily activities, and also the current situations regarding to the pandemic, also how it's been going. So I guess it's fair that now we jump to a slightly different topic related to AMSA specifically. And so you're currently carrying the responsibility as the director of AMSA Australia for the batch 2021-2022, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so first thing first, I would like to give you a huge round of applause because being the director of AMSEP itself is a huge responsibility, and it's simply a very cool thing that you took that big jump. So yeah, I'm personally a fan. Okay, but just like before, we may want to go back a little bit from the beginning. When you were still like a freshman, or we were all still new to this like whole AMSA thing. Do you mind telling us the reason why you decided to join this AMSA Australia? Since being a college student, it sounds really hard. We all are pulling all-nighters because of the amount of materials we have to learn. So why did you make such a decision at the first place?
Mm. Yeah, I think AMSA is a very wonderful organization that's incorporated a lot of different aspects of um, life of a medical student outside of university and the courts. So it offers a really great platform for various different activities like research, academics, exchange, and there's also other social events and stuff. So it's a great incorporation of various different things, and I feel like there's always something that one student can find their own passion in. And with me, I guess I've always liked to make new friends, and like having that international connection is something that I've always kind of um, appreciated, and I was willing to spend my time in more. And Yeah, I think being involved in such an exchange will give you more of those experiences to learn different cultures and also different other nations, and also working with the committees, the other directors on the same side, um, to produce such exchange. So that's the fact that yeah, but the first thing is that I will be able to make more friends and also work with them at the same time. And the other thing is that um, organizing this exchange also provides like a platform for others, like the other like-minded students like me, to have an opportunity to make more friends overseas. And in this program that we've spent so much time designing, hopefully it'll be a fun event that people can relax outside of their normal medical school. So that's the other thing that really attracted me, like the feeling that I will be able to offer those students the experience, especially a fun one. That's something that I really wanted to pursue. Yeah.
That's really incredible to hear. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true that here it's definitely a wonderful platform that incorporating different aspects, the research, the academics, the community. I wish we get to meet a lot of new friends, and we get to spend so much time just like doing good things for others. We get to learn different cultures, we get to work with other communities, and we can just use our capacity to make such change and just provide platform for others. That's a really good point. Okay, so yeah, that's really nice. And instead of just kind of like go back from all the lectures and just go back to sleep and like make TikTok and all that. Okay, so I did ask you why did you decided to join the AMSA Australia, and maybe a little more specific on this one. Why what made you decide to become the director of AMSA Australia? Because I mean, it's definitely quite a jump, and it is definitely a lot of responsibility. And does it have to do with one of your patient? You mentioned earlier, I guess you want to connect more internationally with like other fellow medical students overseas, and maybe you want to explain more on that.
Mm. Um, I guess the short answer is out of almost all the portfolios, this is the most attractive one, just because it it is an external portfolio where I have to communicate with teams outside of AMSA Australia, and also the fact that this external portfolio mainly involves teams from other countries. Yeah, this is another big selling point for me. Yeah. Yeah, I think there wasn't really a second position I was eyeing for. I guess another thing I wanted to mention is that AMSA Australia kind of we were one of the earlier chapters that was established, but we have kind of undergone like a period of quietness, you can say, and then since like the start of last year, we've been doing some changes and renovations and rebuilding of the team. So and everything was kind of started almost brand new, you can say, from 2021. So I also wanted to put in my efforts into like trying to change and improve AMSA Australia into a better way than it was probably in the last couple of years. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, so that's definitely wonderful. You may want to communicate with other countries. That's a valid reason. And I actually did quite stalk and scroll through the South Australia Instagram. It definitely a lot of change are shown, and that's really indeed incredible. And the fact that you want to put more effort to make change for the AMSA Australia itself. It is incredible. It's such a bold statement itself. So yeah, props to you for that.
Thank you.
That really is incredible. Okay, so I would like to ask one more questions related to the AMSA Australia, and this one is definitely a little bit deeper. Like we're going a little deep. I hope you don't mind. And since you've been the I think it's been almost a year since you've
Yeah.
become the director of AMSEP Australia. And may I ask, what does the AMSEP Australia or generally AMSA Australia mean to you? Going a little bit deeper here.
Um, I think fundamentally, it is something that kind of contribute. I mean, contribute to my normal daily life. As in, like, it will be something that I would want to spend time on outside of, so say when I get back from university or when I get back from hospital. So yeah, so I guess it enriches kind of my life as a medical student. Not only, I'm kind of repeating myself, not only just learning the basic stuff during placement, during hospitals or from lectures, but also spending time doing things that I love to do. So in this case, it will be like putting together such a program for students who would want to experience a different culture from a different country and also spend time making these friendships across the ocean. And yeah, so it's a really nice addition, also a big part of my life. Yeah, I guess complementing the normal life as a medical student.
Okay, so I think I'll compliment. It is a nice compliment to your life, ain't it? So
Yeah.
you get to it's a platform where you get to spend more time outside of university, aside from all the lectures, the class. It enriches you, and it definitely a platform where you get to upgrade yourself and you get to practice on how to become just a better person in general. It
Mm-hmm.
does make you feel more content with all of the things that you have to do. Maybe I mean it does. I mean at some point of life, it may tire you. But yeah, it's with all of the things that with all the experience, it's still definitely a worthy experience, I'll say. Okay.
Definitely.
um yeah, all right. Okay, so you also mentioned that you were a part of the Monash University Medical Student Society, if I'm not mistaken. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
International representative, to be specific.
yeah.
All right. Okay, so can you tell us more about that? Because we don't really know much. We only know like all the AMSA stuff. So what do you guys do? And then what do you specifically do?
So the Monash University's Medical Student Society is one of the probably the biggest medical society. I mean, student medical society. So that's the societies within the uni, the one of the biggest ones. So if you like to think of AMSA like a horizontal association across different universities, and the Monash one is more like vertical, like within the uni. So within the uni, we have a big committee, like maybe like 40-ish people, and so there are different representatives for different year groups, socially or academically, and there's representatives for international students, which was my job. So that involves mainly advocating for the welfare of international students. So we have students from all backgrounds, like most Asian countries, like there are people from Indonesia, China, Malaysia, Singapore, etc., etc. So we want to make sure that whatever is happening with them, so say back in the country, the welfare of them, especially when it comes to related to medical education, can be advocated for. And then whenever they face difficulties, such as like getting into the country because difficulty getting into the country because of Australia border closure last year and the year before, yeah, we kind of advocated for this student body to be added to the exemption group so that they can get into the country and they can continue their medical education. So that was one big part of advocacy where we did. And another big part is the social activities. So we try to gather the international students and then make them, I guess, produce these social events for them to get to know each other more and then develop that bond. So in a way, this is similar to the AMSEP program where we try to build those friendships overseas. Yeah, but for our events, it's mainly connecting those international students from different backgrounds together. Yeah, that's the second part. And the last part is mainly to offer the current students more insight into what it's like beyond medical school. So we offer those networking opportunities with the alumni and those doctors who have already, become at different stages of their lives. Some have already become consultants. Some are still in their training program. Some have not really have just recently graduated. So we try to connect those alumni with the current students so that they know they kind of have some connections and then they know their possible pathways going forward. Yeah.
That sounds an incredible platform to be. Really, I am really interested and excited, despite I'm not part of the Monash University. But yeah, you said it's the medical society in the uni. It includes around 40-ish people, which is quite a lot, and not. I mean, it's definitely like a productive amount of people in there. Everybody gets to work, I'll say, and also the one that you mentioned, the advocacy, it's definitely helpful for a lot of people who find it who struggle like in entering uni in Australia, and also the bonds that we also have here in AMSA as well. And also the last one you mentioned is the fact that you guys provide insights beyond the medical students and the passions that we may still have to find, especially as a university students. So that's definitely a very like incredible place to be. I'm personally I'm really I'm excited to hear it. Okay, so that was actually almost the last questions, and right now we've come to the last questions. Okay, so specifically this meet talk, it's this specific Instagram live is the third meet talk. We already have one with Taiwan and also Macau, and a lot of the participants here, the viewers, they are very excited to meet you guys and just kind of want to know you guys, and a lot of them also are very interested in maybe someday later entering the Monash University for like their next studies. So the last question will be, do you have any messages to the viewers of this specific Instagram live, or like basically anyone in general?
I think the fact that they've evolving here for for almost an hour, more than an hour now, that just shows how passionate you are with AMSA Indonesia and AMSA-Jember, I guess. With the whole program you put on, so really appreciated your attendance, and I'm sure your passion has led you to the events. But I guess I just wanted to say that with the amount of the extensive setup of AMSA Indonesia in general, I know how massive there is, a massive team with massive different subdivisions. And I just want to say that, yeah, just make sure you take all the opportunities you can and make the most out of it. I'm sure you guys, your whole team and your team as well have put on many wonderful events. And yeah, just try to go to as many as you can and enjoy as much as you can, because you'll meet a lot of new friends and develop a lot of experience and fun memories with them. So yeah, I just wanted to say, yeah, we'll be hoping. As for Australia, I guess we would really love to have an exchange with AMSA Indonesia sometime when we slowly building our teams up, and we'll be able to take in more contracts per year, and then we would love to have an exchange with Indonesia. Yeah.
Okay, the last one, we'll note it. We'll try to make it happen, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, it's really it's lovely to hear that from you. Thank you for your appreciations to all the viewers and all of the members who participate in this. And yeah, it's true to take all the opportunities just to enjoy. We're still young, to enjoy this time despite the hardships and the tears and the joy. Just enjoy it, and yeah, develop a lot of experience, because it will be even worse if we have to experience regret. So just take all the opportunities that we can experience, and just make a lot of fun memories out of it. Okay, so there's actually one very last questions. This one was actually from our Instagram poll. So from the question poll. Okay, is koala and kangaroo really that cute?
A koala and a kangaroo. Is it both?
Yeah, it's true. It's koala. Is it that cute? Are they the cutest thing?
I have been in close. I've hugged a koala before, and also been in really close range with a kangaroo. Yeah, I'd say koalas are really cute. They're round,
Lovable?
fluffy, and a bit heavy to hold. But yeah, everything that's like a little bit round is really cute to me. And kangaroo, I mean, not so much to me, because they can be scary sometimes, especially when you're driving in a country town and then they just jump out of the road and you have to hit the brakes. That's the scare I have with kangaroos. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess they can be a bit dangerous. Like they do all of these high kicks and all this
Yeah.
thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
If you
mean, koalas.
meme of the kangaroo with all the muscles and trying
Of
the
course,
video
I mean they
they're
are.
fighting people. But
Yeah, I mean
it's
they look like they're very strong, and I
mm,
mean the koala, they're very huggable. They do feel like dolls and just plushies that you can hug, or like all the kids, but they are indeed heavy. Okay,
yeah.
so actually the last question was quite a fun one. Like after all this quite serious question, so I'm very thankful for your answer as well. Okay, so that was actually the very final question, and that's a wrap. Okay, can't believe we've made it to the end, since it was personally so much fun. It definitely is a lot of fun for the viewers as well, and I hope you did have fun as well. And once again, thank you so much, Charles, for your appearance here. We're extremely honored to have you, and really hope to meet up again, maybe someday, and just have a small conversations, or the one that you mentioned, to have a possible exchange between the AMSA in Indonesia and also the AMSA Australia.
Mhm.
Okay, so maybe before we end this, and do you have any last words for like the viewers?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, give a round of applause for the effort your team put in together to make such an event happen. And it's really a pleasure to be here, and yeah, really honored to share my experience with your audience and your team. And obviously, I know today is mainly about me and like the life as a medical student in Australia. Obviously, I would love to learn more about life as a medical student in Indonesia as well. So yeah, I definitely agree. One day we should definitely have some opportunities to catch up and learn more about
Okay.
side of the story.
Okay, we're
And
definitely we will welcome you so much for that. Okay, so once again, thank you so much, Charles, and okay, I would also like to. I think we would like to thank all the viewers that have come and joined us tonight on this exclusive talks. And as the moderator, I would like to apologize for any mistakes that I've possibly made. And once again, thank you so much, Charles, and thank you so much, everyone. I hope we all get to always stay safe and stay healthy because the pandemic is still not over, and I think we'll wrap it up here. The last time. Thank you so much, Charles. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye.
thank you. Have a
Bye
good
bye.
night.
Okay, I'll end this Instagram live. Thank you so much, Charles. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, bye.
Bye.